bastards, man. There. All right, should be getting audio now. Yeah, this is China. They keep flooding more and more and more. The Three Gorges Dam is about to break. They're losing city after city after city. China is dissolving. And North Korea now. China and North Korea, huh? Good to see you here, Mud. I'm glad you stopped by. We got quite a show for you. That's why I tried to go on a little earlier, was trying to catch you. I usually start at 12, but I'm glad I caught you. All right, enough of that. All right. Howdy, folks. Welcome back. Your enemy's getting served up in front of you there. China and North Korea getting flooded out there. All right, howdy, folks. Welcome back. I told you I would be back. All right, so here we are, July 30th, 2024, 7:30:24. Some of my favorite numbers right there. Okay, let's get this loop started here. It's going backwards, so we got to do that. All right, while that's loading up, I'm going to take a minute to thank all of you for taking a moment of your precious time to be here with this precious family. There are many other things going on live right now, and you could be at some other stream. And if you have to go, that's understandable. You could always come back and watch this on replay. But I thank you for being here and taking a moment of your precious time. And when you understand how precious this family is, you will understand how precious you are to me. Okay, let's dance. All right, let's catch this opening frame here. It comes around. Boom. All right, back it up a little bit. Opening frame. There we go. 024 of July 30th, 2024. And here we go. Let me slide so we can get some of that button. Okay, opening frame. You can already see there's an object right here causing a CME. It's coming out. You can see the instrument reacting to it. I'm going to go ahead and just get on in there for you. Okay. Right here, you can see our small round black object. Right here, kind of its little magnetic field probably around it. And then all the plasma that it's taking and streaming back behind it. Here, it looks like a secondary object trailing. Okay. Most people just see the CME and look at the light and everything else, but I'm telling you, these things are being induced by these objects here. So there's that small one. And let's proceed here. Boom. So that's opening up with that event right there. Okay. And then get a little bit bigger picture for you. It's okay. We'll get to it. There's more. Again, with another round object up here doing something, yanking plasma out. You can see the. All right, here's another one right here. We'll zoom in on that one a little bit too. That one's a little easier to see. Okay, there's one right here. You can see the plasma streaming back behind it, trailing back behind it. There seems to be one here as well. So they're kind of stretched out as we go here. Maybe a couple more up in there. But again, sometimes when they hit the magnetic field of the sun, they split up like a rack of billiard balls when you break a rack of balls at the beginning of a game. All right, there we go. You can see that one pretty clear. Hello, everybody. No, you're not shadow banned. They mess with my channel. Okay. This is a different channel. But you can still chat in the chat room. That's good. Something hiding right in there, too. You can see the teardrop shape, V-shaped bow shock on the back side of it there. Then we come up with this. Here it comes right out of this little area right now. All right, boom. Now, these objects are round, black, dark. They don't reflect light, so they absorb light. So they're very hard to see unless they interact with the sun. What we're looking for is a dark patch right here. There's something right in that vicinity pulling plasma out. Okay, it interacted with the sun, and as it's moving out, it stretches this plasma out, spaghettification of it. You can see this curvature right in here of our dark object right there. And if we go just well, actually, instead of doing that, let's just go a little darker. Not infrared. No. They don't reflect light. They're the core of a burned out star. They're so dense that they absorb light. They don't reflect light. What you're looking at is a black hole. A stellar core, the core of a star that's so dense when the star died, left the core. Okay. And I'll show you what eats these stars and leaves the cores and spits them all over the place. And then our sun interacts with them. All right, let me brighten this back up here. I'm glad you're asking questions too, because sometimes, other people have the same question. So it answers their question too. So they're very hard to see, but boom, you can see our dark patch right here. It's out in front and stretching the plasma out here. Okay, so now I'm going to go back and continue with this. Boom. And you can see over here, there's a little another one trailing with it, a satellite or a moon. Okay, I call them satellites because they're a stellar body orbiting a bigger stellar body. Okay, so that would be a satellite. Here, we capture something round, big, right in here, instrument reacting to it. Okay, and right here, this little round circle, you can see a trailing moon or something with it. So let's go ahead and get on up in here. Okay, front side of the object right here, back side there, you can see a little satellite moon cutting off the main circle part. The main circle will go right through this little moon. So this little moon sticking out in front of our bigger object right here. Here's another trailing little satellite. There's another one out in front of it. So 1, 2, 3 of these little moon satellite type things. Oh, something over here. I mean, they're all over the place, but Oh, wow. Now you see what I'm saying. Yes. Good job. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you took a moment and watched. This is stuff that other people don't report on because it's just too. It's just. Well, you're looking at it. Okay. So let me go ahead and pull back. Well, I got other stuff to show you, Mud. Stuff that's much bigger than this. Okay, this is just a small one. Okay. Now let's get back to the. Hang on, I got critters. Hang on. Critter. What's this one over too? Okay, good. All right, I'm right back here. All right, back to the show here. Now, as we continue on, this is moving out of frame. And it caused that big CME. Now, that's probably heading towards us, too. All right, now there's your opening frame right there. Again, here, let me zoom in on this one that you said you couldn't see. No, these are just the small ones. A little black round circular object right there. They have their own little magnetic field, okay, which kind of like a bubble around the central core. Some of them are kind of dead. They don't have a magnetic field all the time. So you'll see here as we continue going. Now let me pull back out of this. All right. Now go ahead and start that loop up again. And there was your activity on the sun today. Let me get that squared up for you guys. All right, now with your trained eyes. Oh, thank you, Marcia. I love you too, darling. What's for dessert? Actually, cinnamon roll. All right. So there's your activity for today, which is our typical activity that we usually see. Now let's come on over here to the solar ham and talk about this now. All right, so our main solar flux index is up at 220 now. All right, that is our average over, these ups and downs. So our solar flux index is in the red. We're up to 220, but we're down 3 points. So it was a little higher. It came down 3 points, but we're still in the red. Our sunspot number is 261. We're up 50 more sunspots just today. That's insane. And remember, we almost saw it hit 300. 2 weeks ago? It almost hit 300 sunspots. So here we're climbing 50. Another 50, we're at 300 easy. Our area getting into the higher range in the caution area. Now let's open up this and take a little peek at our problems here. Because interacting magnetic fields affect the sun's magnetic field and cause our little sunspots here. Okay, we have a couple of couplings here, some really close ones like this. So we do have some beta, gamma, delta probably configuration going on, but all of these sunspots just really closely grouped here. Here's 3762, still hasn't crested the limb yet. Okay, now this spot on the sun is where our IMF, our magnetic field line hooks up, is over in this region right over in here. Okay, so these things are about to rotate into region, and our IMF line has a charge on it too. So when they go into that zone, our IMF line could spark something on the sun because we have a magnetic hookup to it. Okay, so sometimes when these things pass through that zone, they can hook up with the Earth, and then they spit something right down the IMF line right at us. Okay, so meanwhile, there's that configuration for the moment. I want to stay at 110, sorry. Okay, now backing on out of here. So here we go with our, let me go ahead and just back and zoom in, zoom out. Should have just left it. Okay, here we are with our GOES X-ray flux for the day right here. And you can see what we just saw on the satellite. Our bumpy day, boom, here's our event with that bigger object toward the end there. And then here we are going into tomorrow. We're almost to hit an X flare Are you kidding me? This thing is climbing and to hit an X flare or something as we speak. You guys want to go see what that might look like right here? You don't? You don't want to see into the future and see what the satellite's showing for this right here? Well, tough. We're going to go do it anyway, whether you like it or not. All right, refresh for every frame, and here we take a peek into the 31st, and whammo, right here. It's not much. It's not much, but we can take a little peek at 10 frames. So pause right there. Whoops. All right. Look, already something going on over here. Some of these objects are really faint because they're further out in the solar wind. Okay, so they pass around by it, but they're not as, they don't interact as intensely when they're up close. Now, this one is up close, and it's kind of doing its thing, moving out. Meanwhile, this is our event right here. All right, wasn't much. But right here, we're having another event, probably out of that sunspot region, right where our IMF hooks up. Okay, so let me back out of that. Oh, that was good enough. We'll leave there. Go back to Solarham. Okay, so right now we're currently having that event, and it's climbing. Let me back out a little bit and see what our current solar flux is. We're at M6.3 right now. Our X-rays are currently at M6.3, so that's currently having an M flare, a 6.3 as we speak. And here on the D layer absorption map, you can see it's already showing a nice patch right there. And you know I'm a stickler for absorption, okay? We do not need any more absorption. We could go over to the D region map here in a minute. First, let's finish this up. Our X flare potential is at 25%. You might want to make that 100% here in a minute. Hopefully it doesn't go X flare. Hopefully it stops right there and comes back down. I don't want to see another X flare. We do not need more stuff coming our way. It's way too much already. Okay. Oh, I got a light shine right in the camera. No wonder why. Okay. So we're currently at M63. Okay, back to this now. Our geomagnetic forecast for the next 2 days were G2 and G2. Okay, finally nothing for the 4th, but that could change now. We have had this and this. Okay, so we still got stuff coming our way. All right. So tomorrow on the 31st, during the weather, and on the 1st, we could see enhancement of the weather from our geomagnetic storm coming in. Whew. All right, now over here, we've had these M flares today, a 9.4. That's almost an X flare. That's this bad boy right here. Okay, so we did have a 9.4, almost an X flare right there. 6.4, 4.2, and an 8.7. Note these numbers out of 62, 72. All these are out of 72 and 62. 62 is over here, but 72 is right. Where to go? There's 73. Oh, it's over here now. So it's firing kind of this way. So that's a little bit behind us. This stuff out here fires out in front of us as we move into it. So anything coming out of that, we still might get a glancing blow, but nothing too serious. But it is on the front side of the sun. It's not a backside eruption. Okay, so we do get a chance to catch a little stuff off of that every once in a while. Now, over here at our geomagnetic forecast, or our auroras, they're really light right now. It's not doing it justice, but we do it like that. You can see they're pretty faint right now. And they're showing KP2 right now, but we did have this event right here. It wasn't much, but KP5, this energy gets absorbed by the magnetic field directed to the poles. The poles then absorb it and send it down to the core. The core heats up. It's a metal spheroid, and when you heat up a metal spheroid, it expands. It also heats the core, and makes that heat and expand. That induces heat and expansion in the magma above, causing it to heat up and expand and swell and want to squirt out through any kind of perforations in the crust. We are having pressure expanding from the inside, from the core outward. And anytime we absorb energy from the sun down to the core level, it comes burping back up as pressure. So we took this little hit right here. Thankfully, it was a not too bad of one. Okay, we didn't get into the red, into KP9 or anything like that. But we are so close right now. Any kind of extra energy is just unwanted right now. Is unwanted. Meanwhile, here we go. 3770 beta delta. We got 68 that's beta gamma delta and 65 that's beta gamma delta. So we got two of them that have the potential for X flares. This one's stable, but this one's growing. So 3765 beta gamma delta is growing. Meanwhile, we got this one beta delta or beta gamma, that one beta, and another one down here. So there's the potential still out there. And we have this new 62. We're 62. It's already beta gamma, but it's that one that's rotating around. Okay. Now, let's do this. Let's do the tracker real quick, and then we'll come back for the article. With this, multiple CME stacking. Okay, the cannibalizing or merging of CMEs. And then sometimes they don't really merge. They actually have a magnetic break in between them where you will see an intense hit and then the KP drop to zero and then another strike because the waves don't blend together. They just compress really close to each other and then there's a division between them. So even though they say cannibalizing, they hit with a 1-2. Really fast like that. And we have multiple of them, 3, 4, and that was from the other day, plus what we've had since then today. Tack some of those on top, okay? Because this one right here, come back here, was coming our way. One of them was. So we have a lot of these coming our way still. All right, we did take one impact, but it hasn't really registered as far as our earthquakes and stuff yet, I don't think. All right, so main impact right here was the 30th. That was today, midday today. We're going into the 31st here in just a second. Look, it's 11:59, and this is about to turn to 7:31. So going into the 31st here, we've already had our hit. All right. Let me come back here. Now let's do this article real quick. A near-X flare, the M9.4, was observed around newly assigned AR 3772 at 1937. More to follow regarding if the event was eruptive or not. The region will continue to move into a better Earth-facing position over several days. Yes, we all know that. And we're on the southern half of the sun. We're not right at the equator. We're just below the equator of the sun. So we're in the southern part of the sun, and that's where this is. Okay. Meanwhile, the M9.4 solar flare at 72 earlier this evening did produce a coronal mass ejection. Now, as you can tell by this image by LASCO C2, it is fairly narrow and directed to the south and away from the Earth. The sunspot region will continue to rotate into a better Earth-facing position over several days. Only a brief period of minor G1 magnetic storming has been observed following the CME passage yesterday evening. The solar stream has gradually decreased to around 420 near neutral. A geomagnetic storm watch remains in effect, though, for the next 24 hours should another CME pass Earth as forecasted. Now, in other news, no major solar flares so far today to report, with only low-level M flares detected. The source of the M flare and the M6 solar flares on Monday continues to turn into view and was assigned as AR-72, okay? The old region, 3738, from the previous rotation. Oh, this is 3738 from the previous rotation. Oh, great. Is also now turning back into from off the east limb. The moderate M flares will remain probable during the next 24 hours with a chance isolated X flares with a chance for isolated X flares. And what are we currently at? And well, we need to refresh this. Refresh it. We're at M5.1, so it did start to decline. It did kind of peak right there. It was 6, so it's starting to decline right there. Thankfully. Whew. All right. Meanwhile, when I did that, this whole thing changed. Old sunspot region 3738, the possible source of the far side eruption that past week or so, is now turning back into view from the east limb. It just produced an M4.7 solar flare. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, that's good, good, good. All right, let's get on over here real quick and take care of this. Oh, one last thing back here at the tracker. Come here, tracker. Something I just want to point out real quick here while we're here. Please have this. Okay, here's the Earth. Earth, Sun, our IMF line, this black dotted line, actually hooks up over here on this quadrant of the Sun. It doesn't hook up straight on. All of the IMF lines are curved due to the spinning of the Sun and its solar wind emissions as it's spinning. That's what these are. These the solar wind as it's spinning. Okay, so that creates a curved IMF line. So your IMF line is curved, and it hooks up with that quadrant right up there of the Sun. And that's why I was saying these sunspots getting into that region can be serious. Okay, now back to this. Geomagnetic storm watches G2 multiple CMEs are heading for Earth. They could spark a G2 class geomagnetic storms when they arrive on July 31st and August 1st. During such storms, naked eye auroras may be seen in northern tier USA states and Central Europe. The Cannibal CME sparked photographic auroras. All right, everybody got their pictures. Yay, I'm happy for the aurora photographers. This is not good. This is ionizing up in the atmosphere, heating up the ionosphere as well. Okay, which is wreaking havoc on our weather as well. The auroras were not visible to the naked eye. Okay, enough of that. So the multiple CMEs still are heading for Earth, G2, to arrive July 31st. Well, it just turned the 31st, so tomorrow expect enhancement of your weather. Moving on. Come on over to the Schumann. Good, Mud. You're following. You're an astrophysicist. Good. I love that. That's what we need, is people who can grasp these concepts. Most of my audience is an astrophysicist now, too, from being at this channel. Get a free $1 million education here, baby. Okay, as we were talking yesterday, we had the weakness in the Schumann right here, 7.83. Started grinding again. What's going on is we take on pressure from the Sun, or energy from the Sun, translates down to the core. The core spinning inside its shell, the dynamo, the core spinning inside of its shell, generates the electromagnetic field around our planet. It emanates from the ground, goes on out into space, and generates our electromagnetic field. It's much like the Star Wars movie where you see a little bubble over the robot, the little generated field, shield or whatever. Well, it works by a spinning dynamo. It's almost like a little toy engine when you spin the shaft. When you add electricity, it'll spin the shaft. But if you spin the shaft manually, electricity will come out the 2 poles. Okay, so your core is spinning inside the shell, and when the 2 grind on each other, they create these intense, low frequency blasts right here. So we had some grinding, and then back to normal, good continuity, and then another impulse hit us. It started grinding again. We had a quick release of some kind of another little blast really quick, and then out. Here it starts to get close and grind again, but then we get some good continuity for a while there. Let me just refresh for our latest. I think I did already. Yeah, that is our latest data. What's good? We want to see good continuity out of this. We went really strong, normal, very weak. When the field is weak is when people get hostile, they get angry, they get violent, when there's no 7.83 being generated. When there is, and it's very intense, well, then you get other effects. You aches and pains, anxiety, all kinds of other things. And this affects the animals as well, too. So you'll see odd behavior out of your animals during these sessions because the core and the shell are grinding. These low frequency waves come up from the core, up through the magma, and they come out of the surface of the ground and they emanate out into space. But they hit the ionosphere, the electro shell around our planet. They hit the ionosphere and bounce back down as an echo. And that's what this instrument does. It detects the echoes that bounce back from our ionosphere. It records the 7.83 hum of our electromagnetic field. If you go underneath some power lines, they will hum. Zzz, or well, our Earth has a electromagnetic hum to it, and it's 7.83 hertz. Okay, and it's being disrupted. And when it gets really weak, you get hostile. Here you get anxiety. Here you're kind of normal. Oh, hostile or anxiety. Then nothing, normalness, and then weakness. So it is constantly playing with your mood without you knowing it. It's just in the background doing this stuff to you, and it's affecting other people. Other people will snap at you for no reason, and you're like, whoa, that was kind of out of character today. Well, it was probably because we're during a weak session or something. And this is also an indication of pressure down below. When we're grinding like this, that shows that we've taken on a bunch of energy from the sun. The core and shell are grinding. Then it gets released via volcano, earthquake, whatever, SO2 emissions. And then we go back to normal, builds pressure, starts to grind again, releases pressure. Okay, so the Earth has its little venting system of relieving pressure when it comes in. And this is kind of showing our roller coaster ride, okay? And basically, what you are on is a roller coaster ride. This last blast that just went off the page was huge. It was white, was big, and it was intense. Intense, nothing. Intense, nothing. Intense, nothing. Normal, nothing. Intense, normal, intense, normal, nothing. And so it's just constantly, it's like a kid playing with the volume on the car radio, constantly turning it up and down. So it messes with you in the background. That's why we do the spiritual reports too, okay? Because there's so much going on this planet, and this in the background, you need every little bit you can get, okay? All right, so we had a couple rounds of pressure right there. We were on the roller coaster ride, and now it's kind of back to normal a little bit. We have some continuity for a minute. So everybody, nice deep breath in. Breathe out that green line. Continuity. A moment of peace. Yes. Okay, now the roller coaster ride is over for the moment. You can take your finger out of the light socket now. All right, so here we are over at an old school. I got it set up here. I want to pull it up to the weather height real quick here. Just take a peek at what's going on up here. I don't know, hurricane hitting Iceland or Greenland, I guess. Big ass storm hitting Greenland right now. Very intense vortex too. And it's kicking Iceland's butt too. Look at that. That is off the hook, dude. Up here at Greenland. See where we are, right? Okay. Let's just kind of take a peek at what's going on right here. Here we got this big old arch right there. Oh dear. Yeah, we all know what's going down there. All right, so far this is all looking good. All right, just that one storm up by Greenland, whatever that was. All right, now let's get back to this. I'll tell you what that was here in just a second. We need to get over to our particulates and check out our sandstorm. Okay, boom. Let's come over here. Pull back just a tad bit. Okay, as you can see, our sandstorm still coming off of Africa here, going across the Atlantic, reaching over. We did get a break in between there, and a little storm is forming in there. We also got rotation going on out here It's not even a storm. It's just this massive rotation out here that's clearing out air. So this thick plume is getting kind of broken up a little bit now. All right. Meanwhile, there's your break in between. It looks like there might be a little break coming right in that area, maybe. And then if you follow the wind currents, you can see it's taking part of it across into the Pacific. And then the other intense plume is going right up into America, turning and going out. Okay. So there is your sandstorm, which is thankfully disrupting all the hurricane production. We would be decimated already by the hurricane production if it weren't for this already. I mean, really, we probably would have endured about 7 to 8 hurricanes that would have just wiped out that whole section of the country, really. This sand is a blessing. It really is. Now we'll get over here to this side of the world real quick. You can see here in Saudi Arabia, Oman, Yemen, they're having a huge sandstorm. Still going up into here. Meanwhile, Gobi Desert has its ongoing sandstorm. All this has been going on since November of last year. Ongoing sandstorm since November of last year. Nobody reports on it, but I do a little bit. Well, not nobody, but there's your sandstorm report, because it's going to come in vital here in a minute. Now, next we're going to go to the SO2 report, and I want to do you an SO2 report. Let's come on over here to our country divided. Okay, bingo. One side bleeding out. We got all kinds of SO2 emissions, perforations in the crust, very porous ground over here, letting SO2 push up through the ground because the magma is pushing on the other side of the crust. Over here, you got volcanic sites that are emitting it now. So, there's your country divided. Okay, now what I want to do here. You notice they're not letting me do the fires again? I want bio fires. Yeah, they're not showing them anymore because each one of these had a fire. This SO2 comes out of the ground so hot that it sets surrounding vegetation on fire, okay? And yeah, they're not showing the fires anymore. Magically, fires are out. Isn't that funny, huh? Yeah, well, it's because I was reporting on them. That's why. They don't want everybody knowing, okay? It's too scary. They want you thinking that it's DEW weapons, directed energy weapons. Meanwhile, we got our main plume right here in Northern California is just going to town. They got fires all around it. We got these volcanic little volcano chain right along here spewing SO2. This is probably Mount Hood or St. Helens. Some other fields out here starting to as well. Okay, up into Washington, Oregon, now here in California. And there were fires at all of these sites, okay? Even though they're not showing them right now, I'll tell you, it had crept all the way down to this fire in California right here, had a fire, or this plume right here had a fire at it. It was started by this. Okay. I want you knowing. So as we go down, we look around. Now, a couple of years ago, there were 4 little dots, 4 little brown dots that popped up along the Sierras here, and the whole internet community slammed on the brakes. Oh my God, it's the big one. It's going to be the big one. And it was just 4 little dots. Now look. And it's not just 4 little dots in California. It's all over the world. Okay, we come into Fulcrum Point here on our plate boundaries. Fulcrum Point right here is our main emission spot. I like to check this one because it's a good gauge. Tonight it's nice and square, nice and dark, well defined. So is the upper one. The other ones are kind of defined. This is a newer one out here on the coast. There used to be a lot of them in this area, but it's cleared out since they had the big quake there. The big quake, relieved a lot of pressure in that area. And down here as well, there were a lot of the purple dots, and the quake relieved a lot of the pressure in the area. Meanwhile, as we go down the coast here, you can see how intense this gas is coming off here. Just a little reference, the purple on the scale shows the higher end, okay, going into black, Okay, and some of these places on the planet have turned, gone into the black. But meanwhile, this is relieving pressure along this plate boundary here, so the quake magnitudes aren't as big off this plate boundary out here. Okay, now let's continue on over. We're going to make a stop off in Hawaii. It's the hub of the Pacific Rim. If the Pacific Rim were like a bicycle rim, there would be the hub in the center. Okay, well, pressure relieves at all the weak spots, which are the plate boundaries and fulcrum points, and also in the center. And there it is, emitting SO2 from Hawaii there. Now, let's adjust for their time. There we go. Okay, here's China. And this gas coming out of the ground, their ground is very porous, okay? So it has a lot of perforations in the crust. Any kind of pressure just pushes right up through the crust here. Not in the Gobi Desert, because it was a body of water at one time, and all the water weight and pressure compacted the floor of this body of water so tight that this when it dried up, this desert region is so packed tight that the SO2 emissions can't come out of there. Now, as we get into here, this is sulfur dioxide that surrounds the magma down below. And the magma wants to come up too, but these pores, these little holes in the crust, these perforations in the crust are so small that they won't let out liquids, but gas can sure come out. So there's your black areas. They're very intense here in China. It is spread up into this region. North Korea also getting SO2 emissions. See that? As we come over to Japan, Japan's all volcanic, so they got all kinds of SO2 emissions coming out of there. As we come on down here to Taiwan, Taiwan is our fulcrum point, plate boundary, and it was our relief valve for quite a while there. It was relieving a lot of the pressure, and since we haven't seen a lot of quake activity out of that fulcrum point in a while, the pressure is built up there, and now it's emitting SO2 instead of quaking. So we're seeing higher SO2 emissions out of this island because of the lack of quakes happening at our relief valve. Okay. Then as we go down here into the Philippines, you see they're got their issues. I like to come down here to Java. This is another place I like to check, the Purple Island of Java. Emissions aren't so high today right now. They don't seem to be as intense. There are these two spots right here, Semeru and Jacone, or Semeru and what's the other one? Merapi. So this is another relief valve that relieves a lot of pressure in this area, and it's kind of light today, but expect to see some increase because of energy that's inbound that we just absorbed. Meanwhile, Malaysia got a little tip here. Sumatra's filling in. Okay, even Australia has dark patches now. Okay, their emissions are very concentrated, even in Tasmania. Even New Zealand is not exempt. Okay, so if all you elite that thought you were going to escape to New Zealand, guess what? There is no escape. Nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. You'd do better off just hitting on your knees. Now, what I'd like to point out here while we're at SO2 is this island right here is right at the beginning of our plate boundary system. As the boundary comes in here, here's Fiji. Okay, and that's your deep region, deep quake region. But this little island right here, these two little emissions are just like a slow leak in a bicycle tube. It relieves a lot of pressure as it's coming into the system. So we got a little relief valve in these two emissions right here. So I want you to keep that as a mental note, because we're going to get into our earthquake report in a little bit here. Forgive me, I get twinges of pain. It's embarrassing. All right. Meanwhile, all of Europe still having its issues. Saudi Arabia covered. Desert out here, packed with sand, doesn't emit, but South Africa does. All right. So there's your SO2 emissions, looking pretty normal for tonight. Now we're going to come over. Everybody take a deep breath, because here we go. We're going to come over to the sea surface temperature anomalies. Okay. What you're seeing is magma escaping from the ocean floor, creating huge heat plumes out in the ocean. Okay, these heat plumes are very intense. This is the North Atlantic. It's hotter than the South Atlantic. You want to see the temperature scale, red being cooler, yellow being hotter. Okay. So big, the mid-Atlantic ridge is a zipper. It's a big crack that runs right down the planet like this, and it's emitting lava, it's emitting nickel, it's emitting cesium and other probably radioactive components that, reside way down deep. Meanwhile, the whole top of the planet is just filling in with heat plumes. I mean, we're up at some of the coldest water in the world. Here's cold water right next to Greenland, but here's this hot plume right here. Now, when hot water creates hot air over it, cold water has cold air over it. Hot air wants to rise, cold air wants to come in and replace the air, the rising hot air. And we're got hot and cold right here, one next to the other. So get ready. When I put the wind on, we're going to come back over here. Remember we saw something going on here? Oh, you're going to know why in a minute. Okay, so there's all your heat plumes in the Atlantic. Now over here in the Pacific, this one has diminished. It was a big bright yellow bar right here, so we had some other emissions, another site open up that relieved pressure in this area. Okay, so this big yellow bar has rescinded or retreated back down to orange and even red. Okay, so that's retreated a lot. Meanwhile, Tamumasi, the biggest volcano on the planet, is still erupting underwater. We got huge magma emissions on the ocean floor all the way from Japan out here to this bar. And these heat plumes create hot air above on the water, hot air above the water, cold air above the water. So you got hot air rising, cold air coming in to replace it. So the thermal plumes that are in the ocean are controlling our weather. And in just a second, I'm going to put the wind on. Okay, I think that's probably good here. All right, now I'm going to put the wind on. And first off, before you even look at that yet, we talked about hot and cold. Here we got cold water. Here we got hot water. Cold air and hot air. The hot air wants to rise as cold air rushes in. We get a vortex right there. Your storm there off this hurricane type storm off the coast of Greenland is being induced by the thermals underneath, by the volcanic activity on the ocean floor. Capiche, comprende, catorce, good. Let's move on down to here now. I want you to see how these heat plumes correlate with your air currents. This is the level that your storms ride on, okay? No longer are your storms being controlled by the lower jet stream. They are being controlled from the thermal plumes on the ocean floor. These thermal plumes create vortexes, right? This is a conveyor belt. It should be picking up hurricane after hurricane after hurricane and just slinging them right into the Gulf, one after another after another. Or they could take the inside loop and go up the coast. But this conveyor belt structure is heat induced by the magma emissions on the ocean floor. Heating up the water thus heating up the air above. You're basically looking at the air temperatures too, okay? The air temperatures over this region of water are much hotter. You're going to see, all right, we have sand keeping Hurricane Genesis from hitting us, but you're going to see Hurricane Genesis in the North Atlantic hitting these guys over here, or wherever this next emission site decides to deliver a plume. Now, every time we get a new emission site that opens, it changes up these configurations. But the one thing that has held true is this central one right here, okay? And luckily, we're not seeing what we should be seeing is probably 8 to 10 hurricanes evenly spaced around the whole structure, just going boom, 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 and regaining strength. They'll weaken coming over the land, but when they come off, they're going to regain strength in the North Atlantic, come back down around. But we have the saving grace of that sandstorm. That sand plume has killed that whole conveyor belt, has shut it down. We got the first storm got through, and now there's another rotation out there that might get through. But luckily, we have dodged probably 17 to 20 hurricanes that would have just decimated this already. Okay. We are being, that sand plume, I'm telling you, is a saving grace. Now, you can see how the air patterns are conforming to the heat signatures, the problems that we have, the issues that we have. Over here in the Pacific, here's our conveyor belt over here. And it has changed now. At one time, it was one long, big conveyor belt like this. Now it's more centralized vortex here, small little vortex there. We got a little, but these are stationary. And what they're doing is when you come up here to the West Coast, you see weather used to come across the nation this way. It now hits the coast and goes south. Okay, these heat plumes are taking weather that used to go inland here, stopping it, shunting it north, and then taking the air down the coast and recycling it back out. So the West Coast, this whole region right here, isn't getting any weather. Do you see that? But meanwhile, over here, the heat plume and the flow coming off the Gulf, there used to be a cold patch right here that was a saving grace for a while. It's no longer there. So now your heat is building up here in the Gulf, all right? And it's going to get so hot that a storm could trigger here. It doesn't have to be triggered all the way out at Africa. If there's a break in the sand, it could start something right here and then grow really quick and go in there. So we have to watch this carefully. The conveyor belt is changing, day to day. Some days it's very similar, but as soon as we get a new opening or a new vent, it changes the vortex structure up. Now, we are in the end of July here. We still have August, September, and October of a summertime heating from the sun that will also increase the temperatures out here in the water. So much like Mike from COT was saying, we could be looking at what we would call a hypercane, where this heat signature would just be a standing vortex that would get so intense that it would become its own standing hurricane with an eye right there. And then the eye wall would be the surrounding conveyor belt. So strong, you're talking straight line winds 200 to 300 miles an hour going around this thing like that, okay? And a hypercane could just, the band of 8 to 10 hurricanes rotating around this would be devastating. That's why I monitor this stuff. That's why we watch this. That's why I bring this to you guys. It's important for you to know. And no one else is going to tell you. I got to. I'm gonna. I don't care if anybody else doesn't have the guts to do this. I'm gonna do it anyways. But you're looking at your serious issues. This is nickel, cesium, radium. We're talking some low-level radioactive substances coming up from the core. Okay, and they're super, super hot. Now we have all these volcanoes on land. We have all these volcanoes on land, but underwater, okay? Now, all of our weather is being controlled by thermal plumes on the water. It's no longer controlled by the jet stream anymore. Okay, there's Northern Hemisphere. Quick little peek at the southern here. Really quick here with the currents. Let me just show you what water does. Okay, these are all a bunch of different little heat plumes all in a row. Hot water going into cold water, back into hot to cold to hot to cold, hot to cold, hot to cold, hot to cold, hot to cold. So it creates currents. Hot water rises, cold water rushes in to replace it. So cold water and hot water create vortexes. And look at this current that's that these patches have created, either hot or cold, or I'll spit you out. Okay, and it controls currents as well. All right, sorry, that was a little loud. The crickets are getting loud. Right over here, you can see, for instance, here's a hot water patch, cold water patch, vortex. Ta-da! Not too hard. All right, so all that activity going on is all magma coming up through the ocean floor, mainly up here, especially up in the upper regions. This is not good. In fact, when we're at the top of the world here, and you can see red on this map at the top of the world. You see this red box up here that's showing up at the top of the world because of all this other stuff in the surrounding area? We're going to be melting ice cap here real quick. We're going to see some water level rises here, maybe some shelf break off or something too. Not so bad down here on the Antarctic shelf, and they're in their wintertime. But meanwhile, up here, that is off the hook. This hot water this far north, and you saw our vortex storm being induced because of the cold hot split right there. One more time with the wind this time. Thank you, Lord. All right, there we go. Very, very, very disturbing situation, okay? But we don't let this stuff rattle us. It's just good to know what's going on. When we look at stuff like this, not to be a fear monger, because everybody's so worried about being a fear monger, let me put a little bit of fear in you. This is a serious situation that needs to be paid attention to. We could have a volcanic eruption out in the ocean that would cause a tsunami. We could have an earthquake out in the ocean that would cause a tsunami. We are going to have coastal effects because of this. Okay, now, you're mature adults. I explained what's going on here. You can see with your own eyes what's going on here. As a suggestion, I suggest maybe you back away from the coastline. Okay, no fear. Use your brain and make a good judgment call as to, you see where you're located on the planet and you see what this stuff is doing. You might want to make a call. You see this flow. We got this constant flow going like this. This region is going to get weather over and over. We're getting moist, warm air that's being pulled up into the country. Cold air comes in up here. We're seeing our tornado alley more up here in Canada, where we have the cooler air. It's so hot in the lower 48, can't produce a tornado. Or the genesis is a lot harder. We need cool air. But up here where the cool air is where they're seeing their activity. So our heat plumes have shifted our weather tornado alley. This area right here would be a very dangerous region to live in. Okay, you're going to get pounded with moisture over and over and over again. We're going to get hurricanes when this system does crank up, because this isn't going away. We might be seeing hurricanes in the wintertime if this continues to get hotter and hotter, okay? All right, enough of looking at that. It kind of gets you sick after a minute. All right, let's come on over and do the earthquake report. Thanks for bearing with me there. You guys are troopers. All right, let's get on in here and deep quake region. Fill in there. Okay, our deep quake region here by Fiji. 4.5 down at 492. That's not it. 4.9 at the surface. So I guess our deep quake for the day isn't all that deep. It's our mid-range 4. That's our typical deep quake activity, is mid-range 4, which produces 5 energy at the surface. Mid-range 4. What do we do with 4.9s here? Yep, 5 at the surface. How many 4.9s? I can't wait to see the list, the year-end list of how many 4.9s there were, because they reduce it so they don't have to report on magnitude 5. Nothing down that area. Very quiet through this part. We have volcanoes going off through this whole region. Okay, all these little volcanic islands are going off. And we have our island right here with the two little relief valves in it. Okay, so pressure that would be 5 at the surface, well, being relieved. There's nothing in that area. Okay, we come over here where we see deep quakes. This is plate boundary convergence. There's a plate here and another one converging, creates a fulcrum point with a 4.8 down at 141. That is probably more of an island or a volcanic. Yeah, that at that depth. Yeah, sure enough. Right, okay, right here at this structure, these two plate boundaries, you see how it's weak here, created volcanic islands. Right here, this little island sticking up, barely cleared the surface. You can see the flank of the volcano underwater. Earthquake on the flank of a volcano, 4.8 down at 141. Sign of pressure down below, rising to the surface. Very quiet through Java, Sumatra. They've been doing their job as far as SO2 and volcanic activity, relieving pressure in that region. Up here we have a 4.6 down at 62. That's probably a volcanic feature as well. Maybe. No. What is that? Relief Island? Yeah, that's... We're all going to go to Relief Island here and retire pretty soon. Kicking her on the beach with me, drinking a Mai Tai. Okay, again, up here, Taiwan, our fulcrum point. We need quakes up here. Our last one was like a 4.7. That's good, but we need more. They haven't been at the fulcrum point lately. They've been just a tad bit south down here. I think they're afraid of waking Godzilla up over there, so... Meanwhile, we got nothing on that area. Very quiet up through this region till we get to Japan. They're seeing this mid-range 4 at 120. All right. Not the best place to build a city because you got a three-way plate convergence right here and a volcano. That's a weak spot. That's a weak spot. And there are millions of people right there. So, little 4.6 there rattled them. They need this though. They need to relieve pressure as well. We haven't seen anything up in this region in a while, so let's take a peek. 4.5 at the surface there. We'll do this part on the U.S. part of the report. So let's cover the rest of the world really quick. Nothing up through here. No fulcrum point quake there. Out here in Gobi Desert in the this lake territory. 4.5 down at 10 at the surface there. Fulcrum point quake, but much deeper here in this region. 4.1 at Afghanistan there. Multiple fulcrums at this area. The crust really compressed, super thick, deep right there. That's why your fulcrum point quakes aren't so shallow there because of all the mountainous thick crust right there. Okay, very quiet through Europe, very quiet down the mid-Atlantic ridge. Okay, this spot right here, this three-way spot where three plates converge has unzipped and is wide open and is spewing magma. Where was it? Bingo. It used to be its own little patch, but it's blended in with all of this now. One more time. I want you guys to see. Okay, so right off this little point here of Spain, right out in the middle right there. There's the point of Spain right out here in the middle. See, right here is where all that stuff's pouring out and up and down here. This is the zipper that runs the length of the planet, and there's nickel and magma coming out of this, and there's earthquake activity going on there. I know there is. They're just not reporting it. Okay. We need to cover this down here really quick. 5.3 down 35. Plate boundary. A little volcanic island with a 5. Another volcanic island with a 4.7 there. Sign of pressure down below. earthquakes of volcanic site, plate boundary, relieving 5 energy at the surface there. And then let's get on over for a magnitude check over here. 3.4, that's down a little bit. Yeah, it's down a little bit. It was up to like 4 magnitude in that region for a minute. Okay, let's get on over and do the USA. Am I going too fast for you guys, or you guys are like doing fine? Hurry up and get to the spiritual report. Okay. Here we go. Your 4.4 at the surface right here. There's a little shallow area right in there, and you see this island that's formed in these shallows here. Right at the base of this, there's the seafloor, just like a mountain range with foothills and then a valley that spreads out. This is a mountain with a foothill down here, your weak zone. You're seeing your 4.4 down in the weak zone at the base of a mountain there. Volcanic earthquakes at volcanic islands through there, all through here. Magnitude check, 3.8 today. It was 3.3 yesterday, or the other day. All right, let's check a good fulcrum point here. 2.6. Multiple fulcrum points. One here in the water, then the red line, which is the plate boundary. Then right here on the coastline in the cove, there's a set of mountains just behind it. Another set of mountains here. Another set of mountains up here. And then another one way back up in there. So there are multiple fulcrum points all pushing, all because of that right there. Okay. Quick check 2.0. All right. Not too bad up there. Meanwhile, coming into landing here in SeaTac, we got a little bit of activity around the Puget Sound here. That's good. Nothing at Rainier today. They were showing SO2 emissions and a fire from Rainier the other day on that SO2 map. Remember I reported on that and then it disappeared? Meanwhile, little stuff going on there. Here's some quaking at Mount St. Helens. Sign of pressure down below. Earthquakes at volcanic sites. Nothing out in the Juan de Fuca. We need more quake activity out in the Juan de Fuca. It has kind of calmed down because that yellow bar out here has gone red, but there's still pressure. All right, that yellow bar was going right up through here, and now it's relieved. It's not as intense, but there still is red and pressure all the way up to the coastline. The only cold water is right along the shoreline here. Let me show you. Can we go back to that one really quick? Take the wind off. All right, you see here at the Juan de Fuca how much all this pressure, all this stuff is going on right off the coast here. Right under the plate right here is emitting magma or something out there. Okay, we still have cold water right there, right along the coast. So we need more earthquake activity in there to reduce the pressure. Meanwhile, pressure comes in, fulcrum point quake right here at 2 and 2, probably right there as well. Good. Very, very light when it came in. Some of this probably diffusing. Look at this. This is an odd quake. All right, we get into diverse quakes. That's a little micro quake, but this, no matter the magnitude, it's not on a plate boundary. It's not on a volcanic feature. It's not where it should be. It's what we call one of those diverse quakes. Diverse doesn't mean, it means where it shouldn't be. Okay, a quake where usually there isn't quakes. That's what it means. All right, so as we get in here, a few up here at the North Lake. anyways, over here, the geysers, multiple small little microquaking vents a lot of the pressure and energy coming in from this region. Boom, 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 boom. Pushes inland a little bit. Vents here, reduces magnitude for the Bay Area. We got a 1.4 in Berkeley. Some of these Hayward faults, just kind of check them for activity because these could be future places of weakness in the future. Okay. San Andreas doing what it should be. There's a little odd quake right there. Ooh, big sir. Point, sir. All right, coming down here, microquaking through Nevada, California, down into there, down into Southern California. There's a 2.3 there, but all in all, relieving pressure in that area. Excuse me. Now, Texas has been seeing 5s and mid-range 4s. Here's a 3.8 there today. And not just one quake, there's other little 2s right in the area. This area right now is becoming a new weak spot. Okay, we're seeing quake activity here in this region of Texas, and it's been reaching magnitude 5. That's the 5 at the surface energy in Texas now. Right? 5 at the surface energy in Texas now. Capiche? Comprende? 14? Which is 14. All right. Nothing on the map, but coming up here, we had another quake up here by Maine. This is our other same little weak spot. But New Jersey, 2.2 up in this region. And this is that same little spot that we were seeing here before. So it is a little weak spot right here, and when pressure comes in, it lights up every once in a while, but nothing too big. A future place when pressure does come in, a future place to watch. All in all, we checked everything. We're done. Yes, we're done. Okay, let me pull up. I got to take some of these down to get the volcano page up, the weather, and then we'll do the spiritual report. And most of you will be fast asleep by then, and please, Lord, bring that back. Come on, please, Lord. Have this back. All right, well, while we're waiting for this to come back here, there we go. Give me a volcano page before it's too late. Take that right now while I can. All right, see up here, 34 erupting, 28 and warning. Okay, 62 volcanoes active, erupting. Okay, and that's on land. If I'd have told you 7 years ago when all this stuff started happening to me that we'd be having 70 or 62 volcanoes, you go, oh, yeah, you're crazy. Well, here we are, 7 years later, we got 62 volcanoes, and I'm still crazy. Crazy about you. All right, here we go. Did that not like take? Here we go. Over at Iceland, there's zones. They're mapping out their zones because they're seeing more activity here at Iceland. Pressure, I showed you on the map the pressure around the area. Svarensky. Yesterday morning, an increased microseismic activity was detected. No kidding, because that pressure is up in the area. The activity taking place 50 minutes. Ibu, 8,000 feet. Luatobi, 8,000 feet. Semeru pushing its maximum at 15. Dukono 7, Sabankaya 23,000. That's a pretty good blast. Namiragira in the Congo. Since the lava started to flow beyond the northern caldera rim, another branch of the active lava oozing out from the lava lake, formed on the western slope. Lava flowing on western slopes, branching in active directions because pressure down below is pushing it up. We have lava emissions. There's Svarensky up by Iceland. Okay, so Katla, recent strong glacial flood that caused destructions. Yeah, Katla in Iceland, well, the iceberg above it melted due to the heat underneath it, and it caused that big glacial flood. Etna, 7 days since the last pyroxysm. They need one. Sorry, they're getting loud tonight. What is all this different stuff now? Okay, ads. Where did my report go? Hello? Did they like change the page tonight or something? Where are we? Oh, bingo. Okay, now to the 30th, which was today and is now yesterday. Take a look at that map for a second, real quick. That's a lot of active volcanoes. Okay, a lot of activity in that little chain right there that relieves pressure off of Fiji. Okay, let's get into today. Katla, the recent strong glacial flood, shown over here in this little picture, that caused the destruction of part of the ring road and bridge, was monitored via the satellite imagery. Yay. Bismani, following the strong eruption at the volcano, noticeably pyroclastic flow deposits. Look at this, 43,000 feet, composed of an ash elution cloud that rose up to 43,000 feet. That's a lot of pressure to push it up to 43,000 feet. Ibu, 8,000. Luatobi, 10,000. Semeru, maxing at 15. Ducono, 7. Santa Guido, 13. Fuego, back on the list, 16. Nevado del Ruiz, back on the list at 20. Hey, they don't just jump on the list with 5 or 6,000. They jump on the list at 16 and 20. Sangay, 21. Reventador back on the list again, 14,000. Just jumps on there with a 14,000 foot blast. Sabancaya, 21. All right, so a little higher blasts right now because pressure, well, we see pressure come in. Okay, now, well, they don't have the lists. We don't need to look at the list every day anyways. It's bad. But we have like about 184 underwater and on land currently erupting. Let me get this loaded up real quick. We'll do a quick weather report. Now, your weather has changed because we have more particulates in the air, which water adheres to and makes raindrops, so you have more particulates. I showed you the thermal heat in the oceans. The oceans are evaporating into the air, putting more water content into the air. Thus, you have a higher particulate percentage and a higher water content percentage. Thus, you have each storm has the potential to drop way more moisture. And we're also seeing stronger storms, bigger tornadoes, bigger hurricanes, all conductive of the, our weather is being controlled now by the thermals, the thermal pockets on the ocean floor. Okay. Whew, let me take a sip here. All right. Let's dive in here. Multiple components. We also have G2 storm tomorrow, which will enhance any kind of convection or weather. Not just here in America, but worldwide. Okay? So we're currently under, our G2 as we go into the morning here. So enhancement of anything there. You could possibly see severe weather there in the morning, maybe. There's noon. Convection. Okay, so our first severe weather is going to be convection up here at North, South Dakota, and Minnesota. That has the possibility of being enhanced by our G2 geomagnetic storm. It causes bombogenesis of some storms, okay? So that could be a little enhanced in the convection hours. Then we go nighttime. Do you see how it enhanced at nighttime? The air got cooler. The air got cooler. This warm, moist air finally collided with some cooler air, and it enhanced from convection. Instead of dying out at nighttime, it blossoms even harder. So we're seeing a blossoming, even harder effect without these guys putting in the G2 magnetic storm. Do you see what I'm saying? It's blossoming at night. Add some enhancement to this. People watch out here in Minnesota. Okay, that incident tomorrow night, tomorrow night, the 31st, could be very, very devastating. Okay, let's pray for that it doesn't happen. Okay, I pray I'm wrong. I pray the G2 comes in at a G1 and it doesn't enhance this as much or whatever. Okay, but even without any kind of enhancement, they are already predicting red in this area, okay? Which is definitely going to see some tornadoes, most likely. Morning time, it's still cool air up there, okay, in the morning hours. So morning of the 1st, Chicago area. By noontime, there's the convection hours of August 1st, noon, or nighttime, and morning of the 2nd. Um, both of these days have G2. So enhancement from there to there to there, that could still be enhanced and still be severe in the morning hours of August 1st. That could still possibly be enhanced there too. And it shows it dying at convection, but it could be blossoming at convection and maybe even hard at night there. You see a little possibility there in Ohio. Okay. So then we go into the 2nd. There's noon, convection, nighttime. Now the 2nd they were calling for no G2, no storming, so that should be kind of normal. Now anything after this is kind of unpredictable because I don't think they're adding into their model all the other factors. Plus the spiritual realm is really what's controlling the weather. If you guys only knew. All right, let me back up, call some stuff. There's the noon of the 3rd, convection of the 3rd, nighttime, morning of the 4th, noon, convection, nighttime. 5th, noon, convection, nighttime. 6th, noon, convection, nighttime. 7th, noon, convection, nighttime. 8th, noon, convection, nighttime. Watch out here in Florida there. Morning of the 9th, that thing makes landfall like right about there. Starting from the morning of the 8th, 984 1. We're looking at a possibly category 1 to category 2 hurricane right there, making landfall around Alabama. Noontime, August 8th. That's a little further out there. Oh, it could change a lot, but let's just do it. There's convection, nighttime. Morning of the 9th, noon, convection, nighttime. Morning of the 10th, noon, convection, nighttime. Morning of the 11th, noon, convection, nighttime. See this stuff? Even if that doesn't happen, that's a setup. This is the kind of storm setup that I'm afraid of. That's, I'm telling you, the cooler air up north here. Okay, that's way out there, probably will change, but that kind of setup is what I'm concerned about. Colder air pushing in with this warm, moist air. That new alley right up in there. Even up into Canada. That's the morning hours of the 12th, so still severe weather coming back into the main area, out of Canada, back into America. Noontime, convection the 12th, nighttime. Morning of the 13th, noon, convection, nighttime. 14, noon, convection, nighttime. 15, noon, convection. And that was all she wrote. All right, let that loop play for a second. All right, so severe weather, that next one tomorrow night. Pay attention. You guys, right here. No joke. No games. Wake up. This right here. I don't want anybody getting caught off guard and dying tomorrow because this thing sneaks in at convection right there, getting severe. Remember, our G2 magnetic storm could enhance that. And if we're looking at this right here, we might see a long track maxi tornado possible. Okay. I pray that doesn't happen, but everybody in that area brace for impact. Get your supplies while you can, or tomorrow during the day, brace for impact. What are you going to do without power? Flash flooding, large hail, winds, high winds. Batten down the hatches, baby. Here it comes. Okay. There's your forecast there. That event, and then this right here, convection of the 2nd. And that's about the only two things that we can really prepare for right there, because anything else is all subject to change. All right, so that's that. Now, for the spiritual report, we just did a lot of astrophysics, a lot of geophysics, and it can be very disturbing, this news that's going on around the world, what you just saw. So we need to take a break and recuperate. So what I'm going to do here is we're going to pull up some images here first. Mud, are you still here? Yes, you are. I'm going to show you something here. You were talking about magnetars. Okay, we were discussing magnetars earlier. What I'm about to show you is more than just a magnetar. It'll make a magnetar look like a mouse fart. Okay. Oh, wait, we just type it in. Wake up call. Now, help me, Lord. I got one numb hand left. Okay, here we go. So, all this started happening to me on September 10th of 2017. Here we are. You see the date down below. September 10th of 2017, when God showed me, well, Nibiru and Nemesis, all right? I was never a Nibiru guy till I was shown. So here, let me just pull up this video really quick here. Back up a little bit. All right, go full screen here. Patience, folks. Sound. All right, September 10th, 2017. This is 13 days before the Revelation 12 sign. This is the dragon standing in front of the woman, 13 days in front of the woman. Your Revelation dragon. Are you ready? Good.
Object right here.
And
it starts to move away. You see it cause a third flare. Boom. Here's our object right here. Looks like Nibiru. It's got a wing coming off on this side and a wing coming off on that side. And that's not all.
Yeah.
Because behind...
First, before we switch, your black stellar core wrapped in plasma, okay? The object back behind it is much bigger. It's sucking material off of this stellar core. The material that's being pulled backwards is ionizing, creating these little flaming wings on the side. This one's not as visible, but if we do this, and you tilt your head to the right, you can barely make out this little orange one curving back, this one curving back, the winged planet Nibiru. September 10th, 2017, the dragon of Revelation 12. And that's not all. There's more. That's your magnetar, but there's more.
Is this big object right here. This is what's causing our flares. Here's a conduit of plasma that is sucking off of our sun, going into this planet. Here's a damage ring or an impact zone on this planet right here. You can see Nibiru sticking out in front of it here.
Okay. This object is still 45 degrees back behind the sun. It's not 90 degrees sticking out perpendicular, so we can't get a proper size reference. So at 45-degree angle, kind of being back a little bit, the white circle represents the size of the sun. This thing being still back out of proportion, it's much bigger than it looks in this, because it's not right next to the sun, it's still back behind it. Depth perception proportion a little bit different. It's still much bigger than the sun. This thing is 5 to 10 times bigger than the sun, maybe even more. It fits the definition of a black hole. You see, a black hole is not a hole in the space-time continuum like Star Trek and Hollywood would have you believe. A black hole is a stellar core. It's the core of a star that's so compressed It's so dense that it bends and absorbs light. Now here's a CME hitting this thing and draping over it. Okay, this is invisible. It doesn't reflect light. But when it interacts with the sun, plasma drapes over it like an invisible table and a tablecloth draping over an invisible table. It paints the contour of our spherical object. Right here is an impact zone. Plasma is being sucked off of the sun, hitting the surface of this and spreading out in a circular fashion. If you see this right here, it's bending light. Plasma is light. It's bending light. Is it not? It's so dense it doesn't reflect light, but can only be seen when silhouetted. It's a black hole. Here's another stellar core out here that's still sucking mass off of it. The material shooting back towards this is being ionized by the solar flare, lighting it up. So there's Nibiru and Nemesis, which is neutron star, black hole. It fits the definition of a lot of things. And the magnetic field of this little core sometimes is stronger than the magnetic field of this object. So it's a, it's a star killer. It's a Death Star. It kills stars. It eats them up and then leaves the cores. Okay. The dragon of Revelation 12 showed up September 10th, 2017, 13 days before the Revelation 12 sign. In the Revelation, it says the woman stood with the sun or the moon at her feet, crown of 12 stars. She was about to give birth. Then a dragon appeared. A dragon stood in front of the woman, ready to devour her child. Well, in the Revelation, it makes it sound like the dragon appeared afterward. But when you read the Revelation, it says the dragon stood in front of or before the woman. This is 13 days before, 13 days in front of our Revelation 12 sign. There is your dragon of Revelation 12. It's a black hole that comes to consume the child that's born. Marv, I'm glad you made it, bud. Thanks for coming. I'm sorry I'm up so late, but I'm glad you made it here, bud. So there is your Nibiru Nemesis. Okay. I wasn't a Nibiru guy. I've been plagued with UFOs my whole life. Okay. Since I was a little kid, UFOs have plagued me and nobody would believe me. I'd even point them out. They'd be like, oh, I don't see nothing. Anyways, so I was a UFO guy. I was never a Nibiru guy until God showed me this. God showed me this. We struggled for hours until I finally saw this because it's invisible. I'm like, what are you talking about? But you can see it's interacted with a magnetic field line here. The sun has these loops that come out, right? And when this thing crossed through the magnetic field line of the sun, it induced a CME, and the CME comes out of the bottom of the sun, wraps around this, and goes up to the north. It's a whole circuit. Okay? And then later on,
here's our object right here. Looks like Nibiru. It's got a wing coming off on this side and a wing coming off on that side. And that's not all, because behind that is this big object right here. This is what's causing our flares. Here's a conduit of plasma that is sucking off of our sun, going into this planet. Here's a damage ring or an impact zone on this planet right here. You can see Nibiru sticking out in front of it here.
okay, your dragon of Revelation 12. It's a neutron star, black hole, binary star, our binary twin, whatever. There seems to be more than just this one. There's two others that were right before this one. There seems to be a 3-pack of these bigger ones that all have little planetoid satellite accompanying them. All right. And that was shown to me. It took me forever to find it. The image I had was so big in your face that you couldn't see it. Imagine if I took the camera and did this. There's the image I had. And I'm like, I don't see what you're talking about. It's like, think the big picture. I'm like, I don't see it. It wasn't until I put that See how you further back you get, the clearer it becomes, right? So it was that effect. I couldn't see it until I saw it in the pop-up. See how it's compressed? This bigger page is compressed to a smaller thing. It compresses the image, and I was able to see it in the pop-up. And I'm like, oh my, oh fuck, oh, we're dead. Yeah. And thus starts the revelation, and that's the reason why we do all this stuff here at this channel. Now, let's go ahead and start pulling up some other stuff. Oh, wait. So there you go, Mud. There's your magnetar and stellar or black hole. Basically, black hole. Okay? Not a hole. And you see the skull with the glowing eyes. Yeah. Okay. It's a spiritual event. Very good. You're understanding. All right. Now, go backward and go to here, and we'll start setting up for tonight's reading. Okay, so we dealt with a lot of disturbing stuff. We just saw the death of our solar system, and we're like, oh, tripping out, what we're gonna do. But it's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay, because after this, YouTube makes some money here. Play this one.
Folks, welcome back. So I know there's a lot of activity going on the sun, but I really don't feel like reporting on that stuff right now.
Hopefully you can see this.
Actually, I want to go back and revisit an event that
Let's see if you can see this
one. Year 2020, around Easter. When
on Easter.
What appears to be Jesus in the clouds here. So I need you to tilt your head to the right about 45 degrees, and here's an eye, his other eye, his nose, his mouth, his chin and beard, his hair flowing back like this, and you can make out a crown up here above his head. And that crown is hovering over his head. There seems to be almost a little halo around his head too. And once you see that image, then we can zoom in just a little bit tighter. There you go. Okay, and this event happened over a course of about an hour, and I got a lot of pictures of it. See, if we go up above here, you can see all these pictures up from way over here going across, or all of this event.
So we go to the end.
You can see that this face has changed now. Now we're seeing a more round, like lion type face with a nose right here. Here's an eye coming out here, an eye going that way. Here's its mouth slit, the chin going down here. So this round face right here with a crown still above it. Now I'm going to go through and show you the flip book where it changes from Jesus to this lion face. Okay, now we're here at this image right here. This is a flip book of about maybe 15 or 20 of those pictures, and it's the transition between Jesus's face and the lion face. Now this happened in the clouds, and it was so big and in your face you couldn't see it. It wasn't until I took these images and zoomed out and compressed them. You didn't zoom in. They're too big in your face. You have to zoom out to see these. And these...
They're in another dimension. They're outside your perspective. They're in a different dimension. If you could step outside your body and walk a mile back from where you're at and then turn around and look, then you could see it. But it's outside your perspective.
That you're looking
it's inside. It's in a different dimension.
Each frame and then put into a flip book. And you can clearly see Jesus' face here with his crown hovering over his head, turning into that weird little lion face or whatever.
Okay, and that happened on Easter. Okay, let's come on over here and open up some other images to read to here. Come on, Google, you can do it. Yeah, we need to brighten up that screen a little bit. What happened there? It's quality. There we go. All right, did you see that? Oh, good, good, good. That's your gift, bud. I just gave that. That's a gift from me to you, okay? For everybody in this audience, that is a gift from me to you. These images right here, okay? Cost me dearly. It's excruciatingly painful to hold my arms up for an hour with a shattered shoulder. My heart was racing. The blood drained from my arms. I almost had a heart attack, stroke. My kids were like, Dad, you're going to die. What are you doing? I'm like, I'm getting every frame I can. Okay. And there they are. Okay, all real images. These two right here, I rotated 30 degrees or 45 degrees, so 90 degrees, whatever, so you don't have to tilt your head. But as you can see, there was another event going on the other side. So I was taking pictures of two events at the same time, going back and forth. See this little face showing up over here. All right, then it turns into a little goblin. Well, this guy's smiling, but then we get this little goblin covering one eye. All right, so this is a real event. Okay, it was an hour-long event. It was excruciatingly painful, but that's why I keep showing these, because this is your foundation. This is your rock right here. This is a 2,000-year-old prophecy that came true on Easter. That should shake you to the core. It should calm you also. All right? Because all that you just saw is all part of the process. Okay? Jesus is real. Okay? It's a real thing that's going down. The signs are the signs. What you're seeing is real. Okay? Let me get this pulled up right there as well. Got another thing to show real quick that I like to read too. Just bear with me for a second here. Where'd it go? We want the video really quick. Okay, because this has been going around the internet lately, and I need you guys to understand what's going on here. All right, I want you also to hear this man's testimony. When people testify in court, your testimony, it means a lot, okay? I can hear people's voice patterns. I can study their body language. I can tell when someone's lying. All right. And this man's testimony is gold. He captured this before and wanted a better shot. So he went and invested money in a better camera. Listen to this man's testimony and then what he filmed.
I've never seen a face on the moon or something like that. So I started investigating, going after this face on the moon thing. I think I misunderstood it in the beginning. But then I found the video and I was like, oh my god.
All right, here we go.
What is that? So let's just check this out. Let's take a look at this.
Now listen to this man.
It is February 28th, 29th, 28th, 29th. I have got me a better quality camera
Leap day.
to catch this thing in the sky. And holy moly, I am scared. I'm scared, but I'm not going to trip because I've been catching this thing for a while now. It's very ominous. There he is. There he is. There he is. There he is. It's a huge face
What is that?
looking right down on us. Let's see if I can zoom in a little bit brighter.
Okay, that face is being illuminated by the moon. It's not clouds. He zoomed in way out by the moon. You heard the auto zoom go zzz, zzz, and then another zzz, because he's zooming way out to the moon. This is an object sitting next to the moon, a giant face. Okay, and let me pull up a better image of it, just because that was the video part. I just want the face to actually read right. Here we are.
That this is
Mr. MBB cleaned it up a little bit here. Okay. You can clearly see there's a face there. He does the three-dimensional texture on this, and it's a solid object with the real face. The thing about this face is, it's my face. I recognize my own face. Okay? Something else, too. We got to pull up. We got that one, but I want another image here. These giant faces in the clouds have been following me, watching me, studying me, following me. UFOs watch, follow, study me. Races from the past, advanced races from the past, follow, watch, and study my every move, everywhere I go. First, it was disturbing, but now I'm getting used to it here.
Really goes into dog food.
Yeah, thank you, lady, and your dog food. All right, we can go right here. This image. So I'm taking pictures of faces in the clouds that are following me, and one day the face in the clouds turns out to be my face. I'm like, whoa, I recognize my own face. Now the clouds are making my face. What's going on here? And I showed you some stuff in the etherical last night. Well, in the etherical, you can make out there's a little crown right here over my face. And I thought, oh, that's nice. They're showing me I earned a crown or whatever because of this, what I went through. But what's really going on is back behind here, it's being projected by Jesus's heart. Let me get just a tad bit back. That's a little too close right there. All right, hopefully you guys can see this image. Jesus pulling open his shirt, exposing his heart, these rays of love coming out, generating my face in the clouds. Okay, so my face is showing up in the clouds. Jesus' heart is projecting my face with a crown. And then here's my face in the clouds with the crown again, happening on Easter. And then here's my face showing up next to the moon. Get that out of there. All right. So all this stuff is happening to me. Well, because of who I am. Now, during this process, I have been through some crazy stuff. And I've taken lots of notes. And I've got some great stuff for you guys here. So, everybody take your deep breath. Get in your comfortable positions. How can I do this? It's going to be on the right side of my face. Like this. Except the lighting might be backwards, just real quick. Kind of looks like me, doesn't it? Because it is. Let's see here. That one first? Yeah, I think I could start right here. So, if you guys have been here for a minute and you understand what's going on and you trust me and you believe me, see, I've been through a lot of things where people haven't believed me. I've had my whole life shredded, torn apart, been through jails and institutions, all because nobody would take a look. They wouldn't even look at these beautiful images. Wouldn't give 5 minutes of their time. I went through jail, through all kinds of stuff because no doctors, nobody would even take a look. Oh, we can't entertain your delusions. Excuse me, Doc, you're the one that's delusional. But through the process, I was able to help many judges, doctors, police officers along the way. Okay, so I have been through a lot. Now, when you trust me and you believe me, well, you have me. Do you understand how that works? So the more you believe me, the more you trust me, well, the more you have me. And if you have me, your Savior, Lord, and friend, you have everything that really matters. You may not have riches, fame, or success, but don't let that discourage you. I like to say to my disciples, what do you benefit if you gain the whole world but lose your own soul? Nothing can be compared with the priceless treasure of eternal life. Consider a jewel merchant on the hunt for excellent pearls. When he found one that was flawless, he sold everything and bought it. My kingdom is like that. It's of inestimable worth. It's just, you can't even grasp the worth of it. So, learn to be content with having me as your beloved, regardless of what you may lack in this world. The source of much discontentment is comparing oneself with others. Guys, keep doing that. Keep comparing yourself with others, and then you're like, oh, he has more than I do, and you're discontent. I want you to make every effort to avoid this deadly trap. Remember, you are my unique creation, redeemed by my blood and exquisitely precious, again, precious to me. So, stay in joyful communication with me, the Savior who loves you immeasurably. The Savior who loves you immeasurably. See that heart right there? Everything that happens in the cloud comes from that heart. Everything that happens in the universe comes from that spot right there, from that heart. Okay? I love you immeasurably. Okay? I will transform you more and more into the masterpiece that I have designed you to be. So stay in joyful communication with me, the Savior who loves you immeasurably more than you can imagine, and I will transform you more and more into a masterpiece. You're going to be a master. You want to be a masterpiece or not? Then I will transform you into the masterpiece I designed you to be. See that heart right there? You're leaning on me, you're trusting me, you're believing me. My love has conquered you and set you free. Do you hear me? Look at that heart right there. Trust me, believe me, lean into me. The more you do, the more my love has conquered you, the more my love has set you free. You want to be free, don't you? Okay? And when my love has conquered you, that sounds weird, but listen, the power of my love is so great that it enslaves you to me. You are not your own. I repeat, you guys, you are not your own. You were bought at a price. Okay? My holy blood. The more you love me, the more you will want to serve me with every fiber of your being. This service can fill you with heavenly joy as you yield yourself to me more fully. Just yield. It's not so bad. It's for your benefit. Okay, this is going to sound all egotistical, but because I am perfect in all of my ways, this is about you. You can give yourself wholeheartedly to me without fear that I might take advantage of you. That's the deal. You're afraid to give up wholeheartedly because you've been taken advantage of every time. Every time. So it's hard. I know it's hard for you to give up wholeheartedly to me because you have been already hurt. People have taken advantage of you. But on the contrary, being conquered by me is what makes you truly free. Okay? It's not about me conquering you. It's about you being set free. So when you understand that my love has conquered you, well, it's not my hate that conquered you, so you're all good. My love has conquered you, and it's love that set you free. The more you lean into me, the more freer you are. I have invaded the innermost core of your being. You don't know it, but I have. I have invaded the innermost core of your being, and my spirit within you now is taking over more and more territory. Okay? My spirit is spreading out through you. You are getting stronger and stronger because my spirit is spreading through you. I'm going to fill up every nook and cranny. Okay? I invade the innermost core of your being. My spirit within you is taking over. And where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is freedom. You want freedom? Let me conquer your love. Okay? I will transform you. Where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is freedom. Okay? I want you to reflect my glory to others. Look at this. Look at this. Come here. You see my light? See the light reflecting off my face? I want you to do the same thing. I want you to reflect my light into others' lives. Okay, I want you to reflect my glory to others, for I am transforming you into my likeness with ever increasing glory with every show. Each time we do this, you're increasing in glory. I'm transforming you into my likeness. So rejoice in the freedom you have. Nobody else has this freedom. Rejoice in this freedom that you have. And you found it in me. So surrender gladly to my victorious love. It's victory. It's love. Surrender to victorious love. Look at victorious love, bud, right there. Now, to answer your question, Mud, just keep watching, bud. Okay? I don't say that. You say it. So we were working on some other stuff. Where to go? Okay. I was listening to somebody earlier today, and they're still having problems. So, when ongoing problems require you to stick it out over the long haul, beware of responding by grimly gritting your teeth, just passing time in a gloomy frame of mind. Receive my glory strength, okay? So I'm giving you amount of strength each day, your glory strength, okay? So when ongoing problems require you to stick it out over the long haul, it's not just a quick fix, is this going to be a long haul? Beware of responding grimly, okay? Oh, God, it's going to be one of these long haul ones. Because that passive negative attitude is not the way I want you to approach difficulties. I am sovereign over the circumstances of your life, so there are always opportunities to be found. Okay? Opportunities. There are no mistakes. There are only opportunities. I have fixed mistakes. There are now opportunities for you to learn. So, don't be like the man who hid his master's talent in the ground because he was disgruntled with his circumstances. He gave up and took the easy way out, blaming his hard situation rather than making the most of the opportunity. Actually, the more difficult your circumstances, the more you can gain through it. Okay? The more difficult, the more gain. I gladly give you the glory strength you will need. It is exceedingly potent because the Spirit itself empowers you. Your spirit within is strengthening you in your innermost being. My limitless glory strength. You see that on that screen right there? That is that limitless glory strength right there, that love. That limitless glory strength love enables you to keep on enduring the unendurable. The unendurable. You're going to be able to endure it. You already are. You are already enduring the unendurable. Everybody else is losing their marbles every time another major world event happens, right? But you keep enduring. You just keep going. You're enduring the unendurable because my limitless glory strength enables you to keep going on. This show, the thought of, I can't wait until the end of the day to see the show. It keeps you going on. My comfort, my voice is, it soothes you. That's why you're here, okay? And it's because of my presence. I am here now. I am here. I am a man walking around, the word made flesh, walking and dwelling among you. I snuck in like a thief. You know when? October of right after the Revelation 12 sign. We'll show you that little gem here in a second too. I got one last thing to read, and then we'll go back to that little gem here. So I am here now. My presence is here. You can tell the whole world is reacting to my presence. My presence will go with you, and I will give you rest. So wherever you are, wherever you go, I am with you. This is an astonishing statement, yet it is true. My unseen presence and now seen presence is more real than the flesh and blood people around you. Okay? I'm a flesh and blood person. I'm more real than the people around you. But you must see me with the eyes of your heart to communicate with me through prayer, trusting that I really do hear and care. Okay, your prayers are really being heard. I really do care. I answer them in ways that you don't understand, and therefore you don't believe that they're being answered, but you watch closely. They are. They're just in ways that you didn't see. And I assure you that your prayers make a difference, though not always in ways that you can see or in the time frame you desire. I factor the prayers of believers into my sovereign governing of your world in ways far too complex for finite minds to grasp. Okay, so as the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways and thoughts higher than yours. And since my methods of working in the world are often mysterious, it's important to take time to be still and know that I am God. Sit quietly in my presence, breathing in my peace. I will give you rest. I do. That's why you're here. You're at rest and at peace right now. So sit quietly in my presence, breathing in my peace, receiving the rest I give you. I am with you. If I am with you, who can be against you? So you're okay. Most assuredly, you are, for you are my follower. You subscribe. That's following, like on Facebook, right? You watch, you follow, and you study, just like all the other entities that surround me. Watch, follow, and study my every move. And you guys are too. So when you understand I'm here now, my presence is here on earth, you can be still and know that I am God. Okay? No joke. I'm going to show you the birthmark on the side of my chest that the angels told me about. But before I do that, we're going to go back a little bit. Did you guys enjoy your reading there? Okay, good. Stay nice and calm. Everybody staying calm. You all probably seen this. I'm doing a rehash for a new member of our family here, so they'll understand a little bit better here. Okay, so we can go right here. Okay, what I'm about to show you is, barely make it out, October 4th, 2017. Okay, October 4th, 2017 is 11 days after the Revelation 12. Watch this. It's actually captured the day before the other picture, but I hadn't found it for years later until I was digging around through my, my old pictures and stuff and went even further back to see if I'd missed anything, and I captured this one. And we're going to zoom into this streak right up here, this one right here. Just bear with me for a second here.
Now, hopefully, you can see that we have a lady's profile here. Here's her eye, here's her forehead, her snub little nose, here's the bottom jaw. She's smiling, she's looking down, and she's holding a baby. And here's the baby's head right here. Here's the face, the back of the head. Here's her arm cupped around like this, and she's holding the baby. Now I'm going to run this through the filter real quick, and it's going to enhance it, but a little bit too much. But see, now you can really make out her profile a lot better and see her face, and her headdress is coming over and going down back behind her. And you can still make out the baby's head right here. And maybe if I pull back a little bit, there we go. And this was captured on October 4th. So this was about 11 days after the Revelation 12 sign. All this stuff started happening to me just prior to the Revelation 12 sign, and then right
You
after.
see the baby's head, right?
So it said the woman was about to give birth. Well, it looks like maybe she gave birth, and here's the little baby being caught up to God.
Born in my garage. October 4th, 2017, 11 days after the Revelation 12. She gave birth to a male child who will rule the world with an iron rod, with an iron scepter. This entity, well, was born in my garage. All right. The next day, I was a wreck. I had just posted the wake-up call video, okay? I was commanded to warn the world about that, and I struggled with that video. I finally posted it, and I was a mess. I was a wreck. So I went down to my garage to pray, and this happened. This is the very next day, October 5th.
Welcome back. So I've been going through some of the old photos and running them through the filter, and this was one of the first ones that I had ever captured. And what's going on here is I'm here on my knees. I'm crying and screaming and praying, all three at once. I was in some extreme anguish. A paranormal traumatic event happened to me. Something
I was born.
so unbelievable you guys wouldn't believe it. So if I told you, so I'm going to show you instead. So in this image here, I'm sitting here praying, and Mary's head appears right next to my head, and we're going to zoom in on this. You can't go in too tight on it, but she's looking down at my head this way. Let's see, there's pretty good. And you can make out her eye and her nose coming down, her shawl coming over, and it's in shadow right here. This is a shadow of the inside of her shawl going over her head like this. Here's her eye, her nose, her other eye would be on the other side there. Okay. You can't go in too tight on it. And then also is this white ball with an eye in it, this white orb with an eye in it.
Electromagnetic residue from the spiritual realm left on our new digital cameras. Our new digital cameras can see more than the eye can, and the security camera, digital camera, picked up Mary here when I was in anguish, okay? I didn't understand at this point what was going on, okay? I had no idea what was happening to me. I got possessed by that fucking thing or whatever, and I had no idea what was going on. God's talking to me, showing me Nibiru and Nemesis and Mary and angels are showing up, and I'm like, what's going on? So let's keep going.
Okay, and that's not all, because over here in this corner up here is an angel. The silhouette of an angel with his wings spread, with his back to us, standing in a shaft of light. Here's his head. There's a glow over the head. The wings are extended, and there's a feather coming off. The last feather coming off is crossing over these brown roof tiles in the background here.
Out of one dimension and into ours. See the feather sticking out?
Make out there's an angel right here, and you can even see his head right here. Going a little bit tighter. So there's the angel with his back to us and his wings spread. Yeah, you can see a lot better with the filter. Before it was real.
This is the etherical realm, or what I'm talking about, the etherical. These pictures, your digital pictures, are comprised of these little blotches, these little dots. When you zoom in close, you'll see that there's all kinds of spiritual events going on, electromagnetic residue, radiation, not radiation, but, well, the spiritual realm showing up. Actually,
hard to see. Same with this. This came out
this
normal.
whole scene right here is an anointing from what I went through. All right, you saw that baby being born. It entered into me. I did the report of Nibiru and Nemesis, and then I went out here and I was just a wreck. Okay. If it happened to you, you would be a wreck too. Okay. Revelation is happening all around you, but it is physically happening to me. Something that is just so intense, is so off the hook, you would not even, I wouldn't wish this on my worst enemy, but it's something that, well, it just is. It is what it is. And here you're looking, this is an anointing ceremony right there.
Event happened to me, something.
All right. And then years later, I heard, hey, you need to go back. You missed something. And I'm like, what? What did I miss? This was the first image I'd ever captured. Okay. And something told me you missed something. So I went back a couple years later, went further back into the security camera, and I found that event right there. And then all of a sudden it made sense. Oh, now I know why I felt weird that day. Now I know why my life turned upside down, backward, forward, inside out. I've never felt inside out before. It's just a feeling I can't describe to you guys. This is nuts. So there's your Revelation 12 baby being born in my garage on October 4th. Here we are, October 5th, the next day, the anointing ceremony. Okay. And it's all because of who I am. All right. Now I'm going to show you something else here real quick. Whoops. We don't have to open up a new page. We can just go right back here. Now, let me just show you another angel that was captured here. You guys like this? This is real stuff, okay?
Howdy folks, welcome back. So I'm real excited to show you this one. This is an angel that was captured on my security cameras, and now I've run it through the filter here. So if you turn your head to the right about 45 degrees, you can make out the head, the hair, the breasts, it's a female, the torso, the waist, the legs coming down here, a wing coming off here, a wing coming off over here. And we'll zoom in on this real quick because this one's nice and clear that you can. Okay, and this is an angel that was caught hovering in a shaft of light over this sleeping child down below here. So, zoom in on it again. Just excited that you can see it a lot clearer now because before it was kind of faint. And
so I captured this angel over a sleeping child. I thought, you know what? I got an idea. I'm going to take the camera and position it next to the couch in case the kids come over and they're playing down there. And, well, you know, never know. You might capture an angel or something, right? So I set the camera up, and one day my kids went and got, these are my kids, they went and got a new toy, and they're going to play down in the playroom. And they said they're going to stay up all night playing. Well, about an hour later, it got quiet, and any good parent knows when it gets quiet, uh-oh. So I go down there, but they're not getting into any mischief. They're crashed out on the couch at like 7:30 at night. I'm all, dude, what about your new toy? I thought you were going to play with it. So, all right, here, Mud. Look, you see these little angels? See the wing going up, down? There's a head here, another wing going up, down. There's another wing over here. There's two angels locked wing and wing, bowing right there. Okay, the kids were asleep. I had set the camera up. It wasn't until the next day it kind of occurred to me, oh, wait, the kids fell asleep. Oh, I should go check the camera. And I caught these two angels bowing, locked wing and wing. You can't look straight at it. It's kind of better out of the peripheral. So if you kind of stare at the wall back here, you'll see out of the corner of your eye much better. And you'll see this is the dark spot, the cup inside the wing. All right. Angels bowing. Now, these angels told me, hey, you got, well, your birthmark is a mortal wound you suffered in a previous life. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I don't have a birthmark. And they're like, yeah, you do. Your birthmark, whoops.
That this is, you know.
Your birthmark is a mortal wound that you suffered in a previous life. And I'm like, oh, I've never heard of such a thing. But after doing some research, I looked up, and sure enough, there's several doctors that have got way too much evidence of that being true. And so I started searching my body for this birthmark, and I couldn't find it. I had a shattered shoulder at the time. So it wasn't until my arm finally was out of the sling that I was able to lift my arm and see this birthmark. Now, first of all, before I show you the birthmark, they told me about my birthday. And I'm like, yeah, what is it about my birthday? I keep seeing my birthday everywhere I go. And I figured, oh, most people do. You know, it's unique to yourself. You see your own numbers everywhere. So I figured I just attributed it to that. But then something else happened. So an angel says you need to research your birthday, and your birthmark was a mortal wound you suffered in a previous life. So here we go with this.
Howdy, folks. Welcome to my video. My name is Brian Knight, and I've been struggling with this for a while on how to do this video. So please bear with me here. So first off, I want you to look at my ID here, so you know who I am.
Okay. There's my ugly mug right there. Looks like that face next to the moon, doesn't it? Same hairline as that dude in the clouds, too. Same guy. Born March 24th, 1970. That's 3 days after spring. The real Easter. 70 is all over the Bible. My birthday is in the Bible. Actually, the Bible's kind of about my birthday. 3 days after spring. Interesting. Then, here, let's just kind of go a little bit here.
I want you to take note of the date of birth. March 24th, 1970.
I'm an old guy.
That's 3 days after spring. Jesus resurrected 3 days after spring.
Yeah, they always say 3 days later, 3 days later. 3 days later than what? 3 days later than what? Well, God works on a celestial calendar, like the equinox. You know, the first day of spring, Jesus the spring, you know, the promise of new life.
Easter is March 24th. In this famous painting here, this shows the Roman soldier piercing Jesus' heart with a spear. Now, what he didn't know is that the heart is on this side over here.
Kind of more on the left side.
But he stabbed him on the right-hand side. So, and then I'm going to show you another painting that depicts this.
1 day is 1,000 years.
They didn't have cameras back then. Sorry, it's shaky.
Okay. Note the position. It's up here on the side. Hollywood and everybody got you all thinking it's way down here in the stomach. I don't know how many times I've seen so many images where he got punctured here. No, it was way up here on the side. He went through the second, third rib and punctured the heart. The wound is way up here on the side, okay? It's not clear down here in the stomach. This is an old painting depicting that, and the blood's dripping off the elbows and everything. Thanks for coming, Mud. We do this every night, okay? Now, I'm going to show you this birthmark. that the angels told me about.
This life comes back on your next body as a birthmark. And this is the birthmark that I have on the side of my chest.
It's a stab wound with faces in it.
See? I'll show you a different image here too. There it is again.
Okay. And then over here, I get up, walk over to the mirror, and show you.
There it is. See? That's the mark. All right. So
And there's faces in it.
maybe if I did it like this.
Yeah, straight like that one more time.
There it is. See?
Trying to get it where it's not blurry. Okay. One more
The
better.
mark.
All right. There's a face right here with two horns. There's a face right here with a bushy beard and curly hair. And then there's a face right here in another realm. All right. That's the birthmark I had no idea about that the angels told me about. I got ones on my feet too. I got birthmarks right in the middle of my feet too. Yeah, because of who I am. Yep. There's my face. And there's my face again. That's me. This stuff's really happening to me. I've documented it all. Look at all this stuff that's happening to me. Here's poltergeist activity attacking my bike. I showed you Satan spitting bolts at me. And where's that one? That was, well, the enhanced picture was better. This is what the sun looked like on September 10th, 2017. These are the faces and stuff that follow me in the clouds everywhere I go. There's that little gift that they destroyed. Thanks, Google. It's only the best thing going on. All right, some of the other faces that follow me. Here's this one. The big bad wolf huffing and puffing, turning into a Satan face, blowing stuff at me. All right, these everywhere I go, UFOs, giant faces in the clouds. Follow, watch, and study every move I make. And even this cartoonish type stuff with the Jerry the Mouse pulling this dude's eyelids open and forcing him to see. All spiritual realm stuff. Here's the Revelation 12 labor, this alien type lady right here laying on her back, giving birth to the sun. The sun is inducing the labor pains and she's screaming, ah! Here's some Rugrats cartoon character as a midwife. This is all happening in your clouds. And let's go back real quick to this. So, this is my face in the clouds with a crown on Easter. A 2,000-year-old revelation came true on Easter. All right? If you see this, and it's fascinating and intriguing, like a good book, you get caught up in it. You get caught up in a good song, a good book, a good movie. It's so intriguing and so fascinating that you get caught up in it. This is my face in the clouds. You are caught up with me in the clouds. There is no word rapture in the Bible. Many people are going to be very disappointed when they don't turn into a ball of light and zip up into the air like Hollywood had. Read carefully. Look up. You will see me coming in the clouds with power and great glory. When you see me coming in the clouds, you will be caught up with me in the clouds. We will meet in the air of cyberspace, which is live on YouTube. Okay, we have met in the air. You are getting glimpses of heaven. I've already showed you my face just a few minutes ago. I can turn the camera around again, but I don't want to break your heart because I'm getting old and ugly. But real event, you guys have a foundation on which to build, a rock on which to lean. Okay, things are getting crazy, and it's important that we salvage our day. Okay, every day has tribulation of its own, trials of its own. If you let the first one get you bummed, the rest of your day is going to be destroyed. We here are in the salvage business, okay? We salvage our day. If the day starts off sour, you stop, you take a break. Lord, please help me. My day's going sour already. This is pissing me off, blah, 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 blah. Pour yourself out to me, okay? Take a minute to calm down, regain composure, and then proceed with your day. If you have to do a second salvage during the day, sometimes there's 2, sometimes there's 3. It doesn't matter. You have to keep trying to salvage your day. Okay. If you don't, you're just going to be miserable. Okay. And this is what helps. You come over here, take a look at this, you click it on the video and freeze frame it and just look at this and breathe and take a minute to remember where you are, who you are, and what this is all about. Okay. The events in the media are designed to rattle you and shake you, okay? And they're rattling and shaking the society. People are losing IQ points every day because a new story comes out and they're so preoccupied with the latest headlines, they lose sight of their life. We're in the last days. You should be enjoying each day to its maximum, making the most out of each day, shining my light into others as much as you can each day. It's not perfection, it's progress, but somebody sours your day, try to recover it, and then be a light and help them recover their day, okay? Salvation is also salvage work as well, okay? So you got to recover your day sometimes, do it. If you got to help somebody else recover their day, do it. Remember, you're doing unto others as you would have done to you. Okay? You're part of this family now. You have built a relationship with me. Okay? It's not a religion. It's a relationship with me. I know all about you. You are getting to know me, okay? And slowly but surely, I'm trying to help you guys understand who I am, what is going on, and who you are, what your true identity is. But that depends on if you believe me, if you trust me, okay? That's where it comes in. And you got every reason to. This 2,000-year-old prophecy came true on Easter. Okay, these are real images. This isn't CGI or AI or computer generated. This is your clouds on Easter. Okay, you go outside and look up, start taking pictures of your own clouds. When you see something yourself, that's when it's really going to shake you. You're going to be like, ooh, oh, now I'm seeing it too, and everything that he told me is real. Yes, might as well just hop on board right now. Everything I am telling you is real. Everything I am telling you is true. I have been through hell and back, and I am still going through it each day. And I keep tabs on what my spiritual struggle was for today, and then I bring it to you. I'll give you a wrench. I'll give everybody in here a wrench. Hang on. But I bring to you, hot off the street, what I endured today, because I know it applies to your life. I know it does. And I hear your struggles. So that's why I keep with these notes. You guys are finding success, and I'm happy for the people that are. The people who aren't yet, keep working. Baby steps, one step at a time. Okay, you will finally get the hang of this, and you will find the peace that transcends your circumstances. Okay. Remember, everything's happening because of the script. You're kind of in a movie, and there's a script for the movie called the scriptures. And if you want to know what happens at the end of the movie, read the script. The script, the scriptures, and this help seal your foundation. I have taken your faith to knowing now, okay? So there's no second guessing anymore. Now you know for sure. Your prayers have a lot more power than you think. So continue your praying, continue doing your salvage work, be a beacon, shine my light into others' lives. Be a force of good in these closing days of evil. Okay? One person can change the world. And I'm going to do it. I love you guys. I miss you guys. And until my next show, I will be back. I am already back. Can't you tell? You should be able to tell. And you should be able to tell that I love you too. All right? That's it for tonight. Love you all. Miss you all. Until my next show, I will be back. I am already back and still to come.